Okay, before we even get into the heavy texts today, I want you to close your eyes for just a second and picture this scene. Imagine it in a stunning, cinematic, 4K heritage anime style. You're looking at this vast, luminous, almost blindingly beautiful heavenly ocean. And from this ocean, these radiant, pulsing souls are descending. But they aren't just falling. They're like glowing sparks that actually split and scatter the moment they hit the heavy, dense atmosphere of our physical world. Now, pan the camera down. Down below, we see humanity. We see us. We're grinding for our livelihood, stressing over bills, and desperately searching through the chaos for our destined partner. But if you look back up, right above all that human struggle, there are these intricate, glowing celestial threads. They are constantly weaving, routing, and calculating, trying to reconnect those scattered destinies. Today, we're doing a massive deep dive into the source material to uncover this hidden architecture behind human destiny. We're going to explore exactly why life down here feels so incredibly difficult, and more importantly, how the system actually works.
So here is our system schematic for today. We're going from the cosmic descent to dynamic resource allocation, matching distributed nodes, Sephirotic mechanics, modern translations, and finally, the final union. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. The Cinematic Cosmic Descent. Right, so let's get into this. When you look at the human experience, regardless of where or when you live, we basically all share two fundamental existential struggles: making a living and finding a soulmate. I mean, think about it. Paying the rent and finding the one. Now, ancient mystical texts tell us that these aren't just biological urges or economic realities. No, they are the ultimate cosmic bottlenecks. In the Zohar, specifically pages 207b to 208a, we find this absolutely incredible quote. It says, "Sustenance and marriage are as difficult as the splitting of the Red Sea." Now, hold on a second. Why the Red Sea? What is the secret, the sod, behind this specific comparison? Well, the splitting of the Red Sea wasn't just a cool magic trick, it was a total, absolute suspension of natural law. The ocean doesn't just split. By using this metaphor, the text is revealing something massive. These two milestones, your livelihood and your life partner, they completely bypass standard, local, earthly laws. They literally do not operate on the basic logic of cause and effect down here. They rely entirely on upper decrees. It's an override of the system.
Moving on to Part 2. Sustenance and Dynamic Resource Allocation.
To really grasp what the Zohar is telling us, let's look at this through a modern tech analogy, because honestly, it fits perfectly. Stop thinking of your daily livelihood as just a mundane chore. Instead, picture it as a highly complex system of permissions from a supreme system architect. On the left side of our schematic here, we have the sustenance server. Your income, your resources. This is dynamic resource allocation. It requires specific authorizations, exact merit, and precise timing to release funds, so to speak, from the server to you. And then on the right side, we have marriage. This isn't just dating. This isn't just swiping on an app. We're talking about matching distributed nodes. You've got two pieces of source code that originally came from the exact same root, now separated. Both of these processes, resource allocation and node matching, require unbelievably complex orchestration from the system architect. Because they bypass our lower dimensional logic, they need exact top-level permissions to execute.
So where do these top-level permissions come from? In the mystical texts, this administrator level is called Mazal. Now, colloquially, people translate Mazal as luck, but that is completely wrong. Actually, scratch that. It's not just wrong, it completely misses the point. Mazal comes from the root word meaning to flow or to drip. It represents the upper configurations of Arich-Anpin, the vast, supreme root system. Think of Mazal as the ultimate macro-level divine will. When the Zohar says something depends on Mazal, it means it is dictated by a flow of energy that operates way above our local universe's pay grade. It's the ultimate root access. It governs both the server allocation for your resources and the node matching protocols for your relationships. You can't just hack it from the bottom. It has to be authorized from the very top.
Which brings us to Part 3, marriage, matching distributed nodes. Let's drill down into the marriage aspect, because this blows my mind every time. When we talk about finding a life partner, we are literally talking about the reunion of split souls that were originally rooted in the upper Sephirot, specifically Tiferet and Binah. Let's walk through the cosmic tech routing required for this. Step 1, the original source code split. Before it ever descends into this world, the unified soul is compiled and then divided into male and female polarities. Step 2, distributed node grinding. These two instances are downloaded and scattered into the physical world, where they have to navigate the absolute chaos, the static, and the grind of earthly life. And finally, Step 3, reconnection via the architect's protocol.
This is the exact cosmic routing required to locate those two completely separated instances, ping them, and reconnect them back into a single unified process. And remember, because this is so incredibly complex, it only happens when that upper administrator level, Mazal, authorizes the match.
Let's look at Part 4, Exhaustive Mechanics and Colors.
Okay, so the crucial point here is understanding how this authorization actually flows down to us. We are plunging into the exhaustive Sephirotic mechanics now. Sustenance and divine energy don't just magically teleport into your wallet or your life. They flow through a highly specific pipeline. The energy travels from the upper realms down through 6 specific upper channels. You can physically picture these 6 channels as a giant vertical funnel. In mystical number symbolism, this represents the Hebrew letter Vav, which has a numerical value of 6 and physically looks like a chute or a pipeline. These 6 channels, representing the 6 emotional Sephirot, gather, filter, and funnel all those upper cosmic resources downward into the foundation, which is called Yesod.
And here is where the math gets absolutely beautiful. Those 6 channels, funneling all that energy into Yesod, pour directly into exactly one ultimate receiving vessel, the Sephirah of Malchut, which represents our physical reality, and the letter He. Think about the profound symbolism here. Just as the complex orchestration of 6 upper channels must perfectly align to feed into one single vessel to bring us sustenance, the 2 distributed halves of a soul must undergo this exact same exhaustive process to become one single unified whole. It's perfect cosmic math, multiple streams of chaotic variables aligning into one perfect singularity.
And this matrix brilliantly illustrates that this isn't just some dry, theoretical structure. It's an experience that is quite literally coded by color in the mystical tradition. Look at the dynamics here. We always start at separation. This is the state of din, or strict judgment. It's the daily grind, the difficulty, the lack of resources, the loneliness. And appropriately, its color is a harsh, fiery red. But then, through our life's work, through our spiritual effort, we move into the harmonization stage. This is tiferet, or beauty. It's where things start to balance out, represented by a vibrant living green. Finally, the ultimate goal of all of this, both the flow of sustenance and the finding of a soulmate, is union. This is the state of rachamim, pure unconditional mercy, and it glows in a brilliant luminous white. You are literally transmuting red-hot judgment into blinding white mercy.
Part 5, Multi-Gen, Games and Engineering.
To really lock this in, let's translate these ancient exhaustive mechanics into modern vernaculars. First up, we have what I like to call the video game version. Think of the human experience as a player who is navigating intense resource scarcity across various challenging levels. To clear the board and trigger that ultimate matching event, getting your livelihood or finding your partner, you need very specific upgrades. You can't just stand there. You need merit accumulation, basically gaining XP. You need precise timing, hitting the trigger at the exact right frame. You need systemic upgrades, which the mystics call tikkun or soul rectification. And crucially, absolutely fundamentally, you need min. This stands for Mayan Nukvin, which translates to an awakening from below. In gamer terms, it's user input. You have to press a button. You have to actively send a signal, a desire, a prayer, straight up to the servers to request the download.
Or, if you prefer, here is the cosmic engineering version. This is basically the exact system scheduling algorithm required to manifest anything in your life. First, the system has to process the upper decrees from that supreme administrator level, Mazal. Second, that decree is routed through the Sephirotic algorithms, meaning it travels down the pipeline of the 6 channels, getting filtered and prepared. And third, it executes down to the physical world, pouring into the vessel of Malchut. This is the exact protocol required to manifest your resources and to seamlessly reconnect the split instances of your source code back into a unified process.
And finally, Part 6. The final union.
This brings us to the crescendo of our deep dive today. We tie all of this back to that incredible cinematic opening we visualized at the beginning. The daily grinding, the desperate searching, the weaving of those glowing celestial threads. It isn't just random suffering. It all serves one ultimate spiritual goal, the complete harmonization of the universe, where the physical vessel is finally prepared to perfectly receive the infinite light from the upper realms. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Knowing that this system requires user input, how will you align your daily actions this week to trigger those ultimate cosmic matching and resource protocols? What is your awakening from below going to look like?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.